Right, today's maintenance thing is another 30 quid's worth. New middle ring, worn out, so I'm replacing the XT aluminium one with a steel LX one. New SRAM PC 971 9-speed chain and a new bottom bracket, because the chain is completely knackered after last week's ride in the Black Mountain. The middle ring is very badly worn, and the bottom bracket has a nice bit of play in it. Don't know if you can see, but there's a nice clunk from it. So let's get that out. Right, so that's the chain off, and the new Shadow Mech, the Shimano Shadow Mech, is proving that it's got its built-in wear point as well, which is this pivot here, and it's starting to show a bit of play. So there we go. Right, there we go. Yeah, got it out. A bit more wiggling. Decided to stick in there. Yeah. So now we can get the middle ring undone and change that and get the bearings out of there. So to undo the chain ring bolt, there's this spanner you put in the back bolt, the back of the chain ring, the whole gap bit there, and then the Allen key around the front. So I can't do that with one hand, so I'll undo it now. Right, I've got all the bolts out now, so the large ring comes off. I think you probably have to remove the middle ring, do you? Or the little granny ring to get the middle ring off. And the answer looks like to be yes, you little bugger. Thank you, Shimano. Now that's the difference between the old and the new. A bit more metal on the new, so hopefully that'll solve the chain sec problem we had. Right, giving it a bit of a clean up. So this big ring and middle ring on first, and then granny ring on last. Grease the bolts, and we're away. So when you put the big ring on, there's a pin which has to go by the crank to stop the chain falling in. So let's go from there. So the pin fits there against the crank arm to stop the train dropping in. Then the middle ring goes on, and to get it right, I normally line up the, normally says how many teeth there are, 32 teeth. Normally line that up with the marking on the big chain ring, wherever that is. 44. So that one goes on like that. So 32 and 44 line up together there. So put the bolts in now, which are obviously these. Smear of grease on the threads. You can undo them after they've been in the mud and wet for however long it takes to wear out. So now it's granny ring again. The numbers are stamped on there. 22. So you put that so it matches up to the others. So you know you've got them in the same position. And then in with the bolts, which again, smear of grease, so you know you can undo them in the future. There we are, crank ready to go back on with the new middle ring. So now it's bottom bracket, taking over the spacers. On this one, there's one spacer on the crank side, and they normally have loosen and tighten arrows on them very helpfully, so you just turn it opposite to what it says to tighten, to loosen it. You obviously need the special Shimano spanner to do that. Yet more money. So, trying to get it on and use the video camera is a bit hard. So, it comes, the old one. Yeah, that's a bit gritty. The other one's worse, mind. So that's the other one out. Again, nice and gritty. So we've got to clean up inside here now. Nice bit of water in there. And give it a re-grease. Okay. So now it's time to grease the threads up, so the next one comes out nice and easily. Grease is cheap, frames aren't. And then we can fit the new one. So I'll put a bit more grease on the threads than Shimano put on. So the non-crank side is the left one. So you put the left one with L on it, and then it's got a tightening arrow which is turned into the front of the bike. And in it goes. It's always you turn them to the front to tighten them and to the back to loosen them. And then put the spanner again. Up till it's tight. There we are, in. Nice bit of grease squeezed out so you know it's watertight, so I can go on the other side. And then it's just the spacer and the bearing in that side of my way. So again, the chain side, it's the right bearing, so it's got R on it, and it's tightening it by turning it to the front of the bike. And then it goes. If you ever think you're doing this wrong, stop and turn it back a bit and make sure you're in right so you don't want to strip free. Right, now time to grease the axle. Just give me coat it like a smear of grease to stop any corrosion or anything. One so, and then in it goes. Oh, nice and smooth. Right, now it's time for the other crank arm to go back on. I'm just giving this crank a clean and also taking the bolts out to clean them. So I'm giving them a little re-grease so they undo the next time, just in case. Right, trying to fit the other crank, so smear of grease inside. And I've re-greased the bolts. And time to put it on the bike. Just greasing the thread inside there. And the crank can only go on one way. Right, so in it goes. This preloads the bearing the right amount. You just do it up as tight as you can using this little tool, and you're away. I did have a problem with the original one because it was plastic and it cracked and the crank kept on coming off on the ride, even though the bolts are blisteringly tight. And there we are. Now we just do the two bolts up and we're done. Just do them up evenly. And ready for another few. However far long it lasts, mine. Right, next thing to do is to get the chain the right length. So we need to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links, and then use these SRAM power link. So that's the chain being split at the right place. Can I do this one-handed? So it's just the power link now, and wheels back in on Saturday, and we're off to the ride again. Great. Can I do this one-handed? Nearly. Yes, he does it one-handed. Job's a good one.